Go, you.
Oh, it's Mitch. Good to see you around these cars. What you doing around the Bartlett?
Man, waiting on John.
You looking for John?
Yeah.
You know what? I was looking for him last week and didn't see him. So, can you call him?
Yeah, let me call him.
Hello?
John,
What?
where you at, man? We're waiting on you.
I was on fall break.
Fall break.
This one went up. We don't take fall breaks in the.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of On the John. We got
After your fall break?
I'm back from fall break, yeah, Thomas. It sure was a good vacation. Slept in every single day. No, I'm kidding. Work comes first, of course, and then, you know, when stuff come up at the last minute, you can't really do anything about it.
It's called life.
Yeah. But anyway, let's do the players of the week. First of all, I'm going to give some special teams some love and give good old Chase Michael some love. He made some 2 extra points against Ripley and a big victory against Ripley 14-7. So congratulations to good old Chase.
Of the Millington Trojans.
Of the Millington Trojans, yeah. Our defense, hey, FACS held Fayette Academy to 14 points in week 8. Collierville 0 points against Germantown, 10 points against Houston. Not too shabby. Collierville's defense is still showing how good they are this year. And then offense, let's give some players some love there also. You got Covington offensive line. I know they lost the game against Dyersburg. They had 357 rushing yards in that one. And hey, anybody see that score this past week? They beat Bolivar 65-6. So I guess the offensive line and running back came ready to play in that one. Bartlett quarterback Will Matthews had a 34-yard pass against Cordova and a big victory against Cordova 24-14 last week. And then Collierville's running game is still doing pretty well as well with Troy Martin. He had 2 touchdown runs against Houston as well. Germantown running back Cody Jones had 2 long touchdown runs against Arlington and a 56-0 victory at Arlington last week. And then J.D. Sherrod, the whole gang at Briarcrest offense is still clicking the last 2 weeks. They beat MUS 30-28 and the game went down to the wire in week 7, and then they beat Pure 24-14, I believe, last week as well. So kudos to Briarcrest Saints. They keep on rolling, still undefeated. And then Barnes from Millington, 70-yard run for a touchdown, and then also a pick 6 for 70-plus yards, and then a 7-yard touchdown run in that one. Those are my players of the week. Hey guys, my takeaway of the week this week is, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Thomas, the district standings are definitely up to grabs from top to bottom for the home playoff seeding or the first 4, or however each district does their playoffs. Hey, Muffords 4-0, Central's 5-0, Muffords 4-0, Brighton 2-2, Dyer County's 2-2. So Muffords' huge win over Brighton 2 weeks ago is definitely a key victory for the Cougars in that one. And it could match up a first place game against Central in a couple weeks on who gets that first place region championship. The 6A in football is going to be kind of interesting for the 4th seed. Right now, is Bartlett and Whitehaven are tied for that 4th playoff spot. Bartlett definitely needs to win one of their next 2 games against either Collierville or Whitehaven, I believe, to make that playoff spot. So that'll be kind of interesting from top to bottom, you know, regarding district standings. And then, like we talked about with Briarcrest, 3-0, Innsbruck 3-0, Brentwood Academy 2-1, and MUS and Christian Motors battle it out this week, and a key game going into that district matchup as well. That could be based on seeding as well. All right, guys, my games of the week was kind of interesting. A lot of good games and a lot of blowouts. Let's go with the week 7 games. Houston won over Bartlett 9-6. Collierville, like we talked about, their defense beat Germantown 22-0. Briarcrest and MUS Barnburner 30-28. Briarcrest won. Brentwood Academy beat Crusaders 25-7. North Point beat St. George's 27-13. But hey, kudos to St. George's for fighting so hard in that loss. But they'll probably learn from it this week against St. Lausanne. Dyersburg beat Covington 29-22. In my opinion, on a controversial call at the end. Lausanne beat ECS 21-7. Mufford beat Brighton 44-20. And then Bolivar beat Bolton 41-28. Week 8 games, you got Collierville 28, Houston 10. Briarcrest beat Pure 28-14. Kudos to Pure. They played a tough game in that one. They only fell 14 points short. Germantown 56, Arlington 0. Covington 65, Bolivar 6. Mumford beat Southwind 44-14 in the key district game in that one. And then Bartlett beat Cordova 24-14. And then FACS beat Fayette Academy 28-14 last Thursday. This might not be a surprise for some people, but to me, it's really not. But let's give some Crusaders of FACS some love. They won 4 games they have now won 4 games this season with a victory over Fayette Academy last week, 28-14. In a game, they have won now 2 games in district play, which last year they did not win 0 games at all. So kudos to Mitch McDaniel and the coaching staff and the whole players at FACS for winning 4 games. And maybe this week against Jackson Christian, they can definitely pull off a huge win on the road and maybe get a top playoff spot for a home game in the playoffs. Christian Motors being 0-3 in the district is kind of surprising, just because you got a whole bunch of offensive flying power with Dallin Hayden at running back, and they could very well miss the playoffs. They play MUS this week, and it doesn't get any easier for the brothers. But Rosemart 1-3 in the play could not make the playoffs as well. So that's 2 good teams on offense, but Tyler Bird with Rosemart, who definitely could not make the playoffs. And I hate for these 2 teams to not make the playoffs because they do have some good players on both sides of the football. Another episode this week of On to John, and I have Coach Bobby Alston from MUS Owls. Coach Bobby Alston, thank you for your time.
Glad to talk to you.
Coach Alston, I know this season and last season has been up and down for everybody, including the MUS Owls with the COVID year. But so far this season, y'all have played some good competition. So talk about the competition so far.
Well, I think we've played 3 pretty good teams in Germantown and Innsworth and Briarcrest, and we did not fare well in those games. Ridgeway and Arlington had pretty good squads as well, and we did okay in those. So we just got to find our way and figure out how to win some of these close games.
Like, what do you think is not hurting these close games with the Briarcrest? Do you think it's more of like the lack of the running game a little bit, or what do you think can get you over the hump?
Well, we've got to quit giving up big plays on defense. We're giving up some easy scores and not making them work for it. And on offense, we've got to quit making mistakes that put us in bad down and distance situations that keep us from being consistent. We're making our share of big plays on offense, but our consistency has kind of put us in some bad down and distance situations where we couldn't really just run the ball when we wanted to run the ball.
I know you are like a young team on defense. Do you think it's due to maybe like a little bit of youngness in them, or?
Well, that's 7 games. You're not young anymore. You can't blame that. We just got to play smarter, follow what our reads tell us to do, and execute on both sides of the ball better.
Are you pleased with your quarterback play so far?
We've had some good episodes there, but we can always do better, and so Georgia's got to manage the game a little bit better in these big games. We've got to avoid turnovers, avoid negative plays.
I know this week against Christian Motors is a key game, for the Owls, for seeding purposes. What can you tell me what can MUS do to prevail and get that win against Christian Motors and Dallin Hayden in the game?
Well, obviously we're playing against a great player, and he's a 5-star player, and so the emphasis is you got to be able to tackle him consistently, and try not to let him just rip off these big long touchdown runs. So that's important, and but that's not easy to do because he's pretty good.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Okay.
This week, I recently caught up with Mitch McDaniel, head coach of the FACS Crusaders, on their victory over Fayette Academy last week. And I just want to thank Mitch McDaniel and the Crusaders for that interview. All right, this is another fall break for some teams. So some teams might not be covering. So if your team is not playing this week, go out and support a local kid that you might know in the area, either whether it's Lausanne, St. George's, or whoever might be playing this week. Go out and enjoy some high school football this Friday night. The weather's supposed to be in the 70s, low 60s, so the weather should be pretty nice with a chance of rain, but rain don't hurt football. Millington at Dyersburg, Bolton at Ripley. Those games are definitely key for district seeding purposes as well. North Point at ECS, which should be a high-scoring game the way North Point has been scoring some football games lately. And of course, with Coach Adams at ECS, they do have some good offensive flying power as well. Rosemart at Harding. That definitely is a key game for both teams as well for district purposes. FACS at Jackson Christian. That should be a good game as well. Christian Millers at MUS in the key district or region game in that one. It could go either way as well. Lausanne at St. George's. Definitely a big game for the Griffins. And then Dyer County travels to at Covington. If you want to get a good seat for that one, I suggest you to get there early because the Covington faithful definitely packs it out. And we know Dyer County, from basketball to baseball to football, they definitely travel pretty well as well. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of On to John. This week I have a special interview with head coach Mitch McDaniel of the FACS Crusaders. Mitch, thank you for coming today.
Appreciate you.
Mitch, the first question we got, last week y'all played Fayette Academy, y'all prevailed in that win. A huge district victory for your guys, 28-14. Let's talk about it.
And a huge district win for us. We're sitting at 2-1 in the district. It's big for our program, for our school, for our kids. With the year that these seniors have had, the last 3 years, I'm the third guy in 3 years. Coming off of 0-12 and getting a big district win like this, man, is huge for our program and our school.
I know also, with that game as well, y'all had a good running game and offensive running game with your running backs. Jake Pennington had 25 carries for 149. Talk about that kid.
Great kid. Doesn't know how good he could be. He's a 4-5 guy in the 40. Strong. He's a junior. We set out two weeks ago to make sure that he understood how good he could be and that we were going to ride him to the end. And he's going to be our feature guy in the run game. And he's learned to hit it downhill as fast as he can. And if we can do that and be physical, it's going to set him up for success, and it's going to set our ball team up for success.
And the team altogether had 292 yards. Kudos to your offensive line as well in that game. And your quarterback play has definitely got a lot better throughout the last couple of games as well, in my opinion. I know he didn't play the USJ game, but talk about Josh Wright.
Great kid, sophomore, started as a freshman last year. I would say he probably took a beating as a freshman. Grown up big time. Had his moment in the USJ game. It's a little sore subject around our place. But he came back as a leader of our football team. Again, kudos to the offensive line to protect him. In the run game, we tell them all the time, if it starts up front, we got to win with the guys up front.
Okay, my next question for you is, I know you talked about with me before the season started, you all had a tough schedule, non-conference schedule. You got Clarksville Academy, the first game right off the bat. What can you tell these guys? In my opinion, you've always got teams should play at least one or two tough teams in the regular season to get them ready for the district play. Talk about that schedule going into this week.
I wasn't there when the schedule got built. The schedule was built to give these guys a little bit of success early on. Clarksville Academy has turned into a great football team. They're 5-2. They're a big-time team in the middle region of our league. You take those guys, and we went up there, first road game, 3.5 hours, a lot against us, but we competed. You look at their scores and some of the teams that they played, they're putting up a bunch of points. Then we get into Kip and Halls, and it gave us some success getting into our district play, and hopefully we hope that it's going to pay off in the long run with these last 3 district games.
Yeah, talk about the road ahead. I know this week everybody's talking about Jackson Christian's offensive flying power. They've been averaging about 40 points a game lately, on offense and defense, and they capitalize on turnovers when they get a chance. Talk about the Jackson Christian game going into this week.
They're a great ball club. We knew going in that the 3 Jackson teams were tough teams. Fayette and Tipton, man, it's a good league. Going into Jackson Christian this week, it's going to be, can we continue the run game, hold on to the football, and limit them possessions. We challenged our guys 2 weeks ago about being physical. We knew going into Fayette that Fayette was going to be physical, and our guys stepped up to the challenge. And beginning this week, we're going to do the same thing. If we can be physical with people, I think that we have a pretty good ball team. The question is can we be consistently physical in the run game?
And guys, this is a team that was 0-10 last year in the regular season. So let's give Mitch McDaniel and the Crusaders a lot of prop and a lot of players rally around a new coach. Like Mitch said, this is their third coach in the 3-year stance. So kudos to y'all, Mitch, at FACS for getting off to a good start. 4 wins this season. Hopefully y'all can get a couple more wins to get that home playoff atmosphere for Crusaders.
Man, we're gonna try. Big time for it's a big time for our school. Man, our coaching staff has done a phenomenal job, and the players buying in. We've got some great kids, great players. They really don't know how good they could be. So obviously, man, the good Lord's blessed us, and we're just going to keep trying and keep fighting and see where this thing takes us.
And as many years as I've known this guy, I know that he's going to be a leader on and off the field for these young men, on and off the field. Mitch, as many years I've known you, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It's good to be back with Owner John, and if y'all remember last time I was standing here, I said it was going to be a shakeup in the Power 10. I'm not Nostradamus, but I did call it and predict it. It's just this time of year, the games get tougher, people fighting for seeding, and the records, you can throw them out for the most part. These kids want to prove something. They want to slip into that number 4 spot, the number 1 spot. So like John been talking about, these seedings, we don't know what the next 3 weeks are going to hold. Some teams are still on fall break, but the 22nd, October 22nd, we have a full slate of games. Then October 29th, a lot of those games are going to mean a lot and an extra for each team that's taking on a game that weekend. But let's get to our Power 10 as of week 9. Back in the top 10, the Brighton Cardinals picked up a big win over Kingsbury. They're sitting at 4-3. They get a week off, then they have to travel the next 2 games to see how their seeding will go. Number 9, the Bartlett Panthers. Bartlett Panthers, you get a juggernaut 1 week, and then 1 week is kind of leave you scratching your head. But can they be consistent, pull off an upset against Collierville soon? At number 8, MUS. And then also at number 7, Christian Brothers. A showdown between those 2 old rivals. Who's going to win that game? Then at number 6, the Mumford Cougars. They're looking good. They're starting to pick up steam. Their running game. Jordan Bell, the young quarterback, man, just raw talent, the sophomore. And then they got that powerful running game. So that's our bottom 5 of the Power 10. So let's get to our top 5. At number 5, ECS. They had a week off after a tough loss to Lausanne. How they going to finish off the rest of the season? And they were our preseason number 1. They look like it. They had a lot of points in this season. How would they finish? But they finished strong. At number 4, Germantown. You got to keep them at number 4 after the big 56-0 win over a large Arlington team. Germantown, can they put together a special run in the postseason? And number 3, the Covington Chargers. Powerful running game. They had a hiccup against Dyersburg. Dyersburg, one of the better teams in that classification. So it's nothing to go up to Dyersburg and lose to a good Dyersburg team. But with Covington, they bounced back big time against Bolivar, 65-6, like John talked about. They back to getting ready for a nice run in November. Number 2, a surprise team to me, but now looking at these scores, they shouldn't be a surprise anymore. The Collierville Dragons. They finally gave up 10 points this season to Houston this past week. But prior to that, shut down Whitehaven. I mean, you put the competition in front, they shut them down, had a couple of shutouts. They call them the Doomsday Defense out there, the Dragon Doomsday Defense. They're starting to look like that. If their defense is that good, look for them to make a deep run in November. And at number 1, and you have to keep them number 1 after they beat their rivals MUS, Briarcrest Saints. Man, they picked up a good quality win over Pure Academy this week, 8-0. The Saints are looking good. They got a good matchup coming up in a couple weeks. But then at the end of the year, if they sitting at 9-0, they have to travel to Nashville and play Innsworth. Will they walk out of Innsworth 10-0? That's way down the line. The future will let us know. But once again, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. We want to thank John for his hard work and getting out there and getting all these things covered.
And I also do want to say prayer for Collierville as well, as they go through that tragedy a few weeks ago at that Kroger as well. I know Coach Coney and the gang are definitely doing pretty good as well right now. So Collierville strong, always stay strong. They are all family for a reason in Collierville.
Hey,
stay strong, guys.
You realize when you work at a newspaper, we got the Power of 10. We got 4 newspapers that we have here, from the Bartlett Express to the Millington Star, the Collierville Herald-Independent, and the Germantown News. We might have different neighborhoods, but we all under one umbrella in Shelby County. So we come together in times like this, and it reminds us that we are family, and we all in this together. Like with my brother John, I appreciate him and all that he does and keep me on my toes, and I owe him a favor because I might take a fall break on him. But that's been On the John for this week. We'll catch you next time.